heart there's so many songs about rainbows and what's on the other side. Rainbows are visions and only illusions, and rainbows have nothing to hide. Well, so we've been told, and some choose to believe it. Well, I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Well, who said that every wish will be heard and answered when wished on the morning star? Well, somebody thought of that, and somebody believed it. Well, look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? And what do we think we might see? Well, someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. All of us under its spell. We know that it's probably magic. Well, have you been half asleep? And have you heard voices? Well, I've heard them calling my name. Is this the sweet sound that calls the young sailors? The voice might be one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Well, someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. La da 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 dee da dee.
Good morning. It is October 25th, 2020. At least I think it's the 25th. Did I get it right? Yes. Welcome, everyone, and especially to visitors to this online gathering of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Bowling Green. We are a welcoming congregation, so whoever you are, however you identify, wherever you come from, whoever you love, you are welcome here. Our Sunday services are different each week so that we can honor and learn from a wide array of traditions and beliefs. Today, our speaker is our very own Jennifer Hudly Batts Thomas. Though we each walk our own path here in this place and now at this time, we journey together as one community. For Unitarian Universalists, the flaming chalice is a symbol of the light of learning and the love of our community. This morning, our chalice will be lit by Greg Willis. As the congregation's chalice is lit, you're welcome to join in singing 362, Rise Up, O Flame.
Rise up, O flame.
May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. May we know once again that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to the universe, to this community, and to each other.
Our first hymn will be played by Forrest, Wo Ya Ya.
We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know it is, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be strong, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. We are going. Heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Lisa, try to play it from yours, please. Play the YouTube. We will now have a few moments for meditation, reflection, and prayer. The singing bowl will lead us into the silence. After the silence, we will sing Spirit of Life. As mentioned earlier, Unitarian Universalists have a wide array of beliefs, and the speakers at our Sunday services come from many traditions. Our speaker today is Ms. Jennifer Hudly Batts Thomas. She earned her Master of Divinity degree from Central Baptist Theological Seminary in 2018 and is a candidate for ministry with the UUA. She raised her children in this church and believes this religious community can be a powerful force in our lives and in our community. Jennifer is mother to Mary Grayson Batts and Cullen Batts and stepmother to Liam Thomas. Jennifer shares her home with her spouse Ryan, and together they enjoy music, books, and camping. Here to share her own thoughts, Jennifer Thomas.
Did you rise this morning broken and hung over with weariness and pain and rage, tattered from waving too long in a brutal wind? Get up, child. Pull your bones upright. Gather your skin and muscle into a patch of sun. Draw breath deep into your lungs. You will need it, for another day calls to you. I know you ache. I know you wish the work were done and you, with everyone you have ever loved, were on a distant shore, safe and unafraid. But remember this, tired as you are not alone. Here and here and here also there are others weeping and rising and gathering their courage. You belong to them, and they to you, and together we will break through and bend the arc of justice all the way down into our lives. This was Prayer for the Morning by the Reverend Audette Fulbright Fulson. And as soon as I read it, I knew it was destined for this sermon, this service, this time here with you, only one Sunday to go before Election Day. After another big election a couple of years ago, I found myself stunned in deep grief and shocked that the values that seemed to have won that night were greed and arrogance and racism and misogyny. That is not who I thought we were as a country, not on the whole, and that election really hurt a lot. It hurt in my own heart and spirit, but there was also hurt for my children, my family, my friends, people I love so much who are vulnerable and who count on all of us to look out for them. I wept when I entered my classroom that next morning on a Wednesday. I saw the precious faces of my first graders who are always so present and hopeful and vulnerable. There were families represented in my classroom who had been the continual recipients of hate and racist vitriol. And when teachers tell you that their students become their kids, that is totally true, because those kids were mine, and I wanted them to know a better America. Even at the tender age of 6, some of those precious souls saw me, and they knew why I was crying, because there had been crying in their homes too. And without a word, they just hugged me. And I hugged them back. And I told them it would be okay eventually. I was still in seminary then, and when I arrived in Nashville for class that Saturday, I was still visibly shaken. And it's really important to note here that I was the minority in my seminary cohort. The majority of my seminary sisters are Black women, and one of them, the Reverend Alicia Smith Haddock, looked at me and she said, Jen, what's wrong? She was so casual And honestly, it just threw me into more bewilderment that she'd even have to ask me what was wrong at a time like that. And then she put me in my place. And I mean that with the deepest gratitude and respect for her, and with great humility on my part. She told me, Jen, our people have been feeling like this for hundreds of years. It'll be okay. I can still feel that sting, the way she jerked me into her reality, the shock and shame of my privilege to be so upset about just this one event. To have not realized in that moment that she and millions of other people of color have felt something similar enough for Alicia to have given me that correction, that reassurance, and that way to look past this one event and into a better future. She drew me back onto that path with her that steadily marches on day after day when we all do our part. We will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. I love that song for helping me out of a funk. On a misty day, it can be hard to find your path. Edges are softened, familiar landmarks disappear, and what once seemed obvious becomes vague and ill-defined. When that happens, slow down and go gently. Notice that there is a different kind of beauty around you. That comes from a daily email I receive called Daily Compass. Like the poem I shared to begin my sermon, these words created something for me. It was a soft space, gave me some steps out of the despair that I've been in, gave me another more artful way of processing what in the world is happening to all of us right now. NPR shared a piece recently about the effects of the pandemic on our bodies and our mental health. And I'll add that the divisiveness America is splintered by these days only amplifies all of the stress that we're feeling. People are reporting more sleeplessness, more headaches and other ailments. There's even a higher number of people seeking dental care because stress takes a toll on our teeth too, and people are grinding their teeth until they break. We are literally wearing ourselves down. And while it might seem like the pandemic and the election, sickness, racism, a lack of civility and decency is all we talk about these days, I really don't think we talk about it enough. Or should I say, we don't talk about it on a personal level quite enough. Because I'm exhausted. I have so many good things going for me right now, but still I am exhausted. I am bone tired and soul weary, and I think many of you are too. We might not name it, like the stray cat we don't want to stick around, but it is still there every day. Elizabeth Gilbert wrote, "Deep grief is sometimes almost like a specific location, a coordinate on a map of time. When you're standing in that forest of sorrow, you cannot imagine you could ever find your way to a better place. But if someone can assure you that they themselves have stood in that same place and have now moved on, sometimes this will bring hope." So what I want us to spend the rest of our time together talking about is who sits with you in this deep grief, in your exhaustion, in your loneliness and isolation, in your greatest desire to get back to a kinder place, to a place where we can gather together again and touch one another, hug and hold hands, worship in the same room. Who sits with you in that? What helps move you through it? I think it's pretty important to talk about that right now because we are in hard times. And no matter what happens in November, we are still going to be in them for a while. I wish that all the pain and isolation and evil, all of the sins this country has suffered from and perpetuated, would be gone with the outcome of one election. How good would it be if one event could really do that for us? But it does not work that way. No matter what happens in November, we've all still got a lot of work to do. I've been thinking about the beach a lot lately because I love that place. I have my favorite beaches, but really anyone will do. They are so ancient and they never stop. Wave after wave rushes in, and then they're drawn back to their source. Sometimes they leave behind these soft-edged, smooth, beautiful pieces of shell for us to collect. And picking those up from the beach and holding them in my hand made me think about how right now, when we get the results of this election, and in the days and the weeks and the months and the years after, we are going to have to continually pay attention to, reach for, and collect those beautiful broken pieces that we find all around us, and we are going to have to hold them in our hands. And we're going to have to use those to build what we want again. You know, when those shells were broken, those waves were really destructive. And they can be like that. Like the bad news that just keeps coming, one hit after another, and it destroys everything that it touches. But those ancient waves can also, if we leave them to their work, leave some sustaining things behind. They can leave behind those beautiful bits that we are going to gather up and hold and use to make something better. Those waves can build up dunes of sand. They can create places for sea oats to grow again, for turtles to nest, for the beautiful balance of nature to be restored. But we have to honor the ocean and let it do its work. Better angels are like that. And I have this little theory that brings me a lot of comfort these days. I believe there are better angels all around us. Some of them are right here with us now in this worship service, and some are embedded in all parts of our civic lives. I believe that these people, as if on watch for the greater good of us all, are making sure that we do not completely run off the road here. I believe these better angels are doing the work we hope is done. We may never know who they are or what they've done for us, but their constant watch, their never ceasing attention to moving us forward in the direction of progress is there, and it goes on and on every day. I know it doesn't always feel like we're moving in a kinder, more compassionate direction. I know it hardly feels like we're doing that at all these days. Life is so hard and we are isolated, we're lonely. Some of us are really scared about what might happen in a couple of weeks. I heard the 23rd Psalm this week, and the line that I've really carried with me is that God restores my soul. My daily walks outside restore my soul. the cards and texts that some of you all have gotten from me in these last strange months, they do it too, because they help me think of you and be connected to you and honor all of the goodness that you bring to this life. Taking care of our bodies and our minds and our tender and fierce spirits is necessary for whatever might come. And for whatever might come, some clergy across the country have formed a clergy emergency league to share resources and provide encouragement and be ready to do the work of love and justice no matter what happens. There is a UU trauma response ministry that has some recommendations for us for the times when the collective trauma we've been living through gets to be too much. I can share that resource with you through our church communication channels. We are here for you, whatever comes in November. We will remind one another that no one event, no one person can move this country forward or backward alone. We are more than that. My seminary sister, Reverend Alicia Smith Haddock, helped me understand that bad, unspeakable things happen all the time, but we must stay firmly rooted in our values and in doing our part to show compassion, to do the work that only each of us can do, to use that constant ocean wave of change to continue doing the good that sustains us. Take care, my friends. Eat well, sleep as much as you're able, and may it be restorative rest when you get it. Get outside when you can. Connect with your people, however you are able to do that. Call them, write them, pray for them. Reach out if you're feeling down. If a conversation with a friend will be the thing to help ease you into a better space. Keep making your art, your music. Keep offering the gifts that only you have to offer to us. Keep volunteering for causes that honor your vision of justice and love, because we can have a kinder America. We will get there. Heaven knows how, but we will get there. Take care of yourselves, because we need you and you need us. My closing prayer comes from the poet Maya Angelou. Here on the pulse of this new day, may you have the grace to look up and look out, and into your sister's eyes, and into your brother's face, your country, and say simply, very simply, with hope, good morning. Amen, and may it be so.
Thank you, Jennifer, for sharing your thoughts with us today. Join us in singing our last hymn, which should sound familiar, Wo Ya Ya.
We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Let us take an offering to sustain our community. You can follow the instructions to donate that are on the screen.
There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. And I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. And I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more hope somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. And I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. And I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more joy somewhere.
Thank you so much for your gifts. May we use them wisely. Though we are not in person at the moment, our community is still alive and well. And in fact, we have plenty of announcements for today. So the first thing I need you to know is that the newsletter deadline is today. Please get any submissions to Tim. We, on Wednesday, are joining KUJAN, the Kentucky Unitarian Universalist Justice Action Network, for our final meeting on Wednesday. See Lisa if you need more information about that. On, next Sunday, we need your submissions for the Remembrance Service. Janine is putting together a montage, so if you have a picture or stories you'd like to share, please do that as soon as possible. In November, we have a fun activity, Chalice and Chocolate, a Sip and Create. It'll be a Zoom event. Please see Diane. Sign-ups are due November 3rd, and the cost is $15. And our final announcement, the Jingle Bell Bidding, an online auction, is coming up. It will take place December 13th. The deadline to make an entry is December 1st. So please see Delaire if you have an item to submit. Greg will give us our final reading.
Lift up your faces. You have a piercing need for this bright morning dawning for you. History, despite its wrenching pain, cannot be unlived, but if faced with courage, need not be lived again. Lift up your eyes upon the day breaking for you. Give birth again to the dream. Women, children, men. Take it into the palms of your hands. molded into the shape of your most private need, sculpted into the image of your most public self. Lift up your hearts. Each new hour holds new chances for new beginnings. Do not be wedded forever to fear, yoked eternally to brutishness. The horizon leans forward, offering you space to place new steps of change. Here on the pulse of this fine day, you may have the courage to look up and out and upon me, the rock, the river, the tree, your country, no less to Midas than to mendicant, no less to you now than the mastodon then. Here on the pulse of this new day, you may have the grace to look up and out and into your sister's eyes, into your brother's face, your country, and say simply, very simply, with hope, good morning.
As our gathering ends, we will extinguish the flame in our chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts wherever we go. Go in peace, go in service to others, go in love.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the love of all surround you. Every